decals or?
No, they do all that there. And we're still waiting on that. We're going back and forth.
All right, that's live, everybody.
Strategy and social media at the same time.
Yeah.
Hey, let's reach out. Jeff, how are you? Yeah, that guy in Hampton, who else? No, it's not. Oh, no. You're thinking of,
Jones?
on Route 1? Oh, yeah, he's a good.
Hello, Mr. Griffith. Mary, how are you? Hey, Jim. Quiet. Good, how are you? All right, 7 o'clock. We will call the meeting to order. First up on the agenda, Chief Young. What do you got?
We were notified approximately a couple weeks ago that Attorney Approach, who has been prosecuting for our department for several years, is retiring and relocating down south. There was a plan put in place earlier that was going to be one of the departments that was over our department as well as some other departments, regional prosecutor. That has fallen through because she has taken on some bigger departments and she just can't handle the caseload. So I just want to make the board aware that the vacancy will be done at the end of December of this year. So I want to move forward in his other departments that he does prosecute for too, are in the same boat as us, that we're ideally looking for a regional prosecutor that will do our prosecution.
How many towns are kind of in our same basket?
There's at least 2 or 3 that he prosecutes for, but there's a couple other towns that are looking to go in a different direction they're currently in.
Okay.
So I would like to move forward and advertise the position, and obviously keep it similar to what the line item allocates us. I do assume that it might go up a little bit just with everything else going on.
Sure.
But I'd like to start this process now, get it advertised, and then have something in place, so we don't have a gap on the first year.
Okay. Questions?
You can handle the interim between you and.
If there is a gap the 1st of January, we can handle arraignments and minor trials. If it comes something to do with a motion or something like that, we might have to seek some legal advice. But with our networking, and Lieutenant Blades can reach out to some other police departments and assist us in that. In my opinion, I don't think that there will be a gap.
Okay. Jackie, questions? No? Good.
Thank you.
Postal?
Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
I would like to thank you and the police department for your work on Saturday night. I was curious about the bike helmets. How did you come up with that idea?
The bike helmets were, a grant was put in for the Dartmouth Hitchcock Hospital in Hanover back early February, March. We wanted at least one for every student at the school, including bike lights. Unfortunately, they had so much response from the grant, they were only able to give us 50. We did post that and advertise it on our Facebook page back in March, and we only had like 1 child come in.
Yeah.
So we had 49 out here on Saturday night. All of them went. In fact, we did have to turn a couple of children away, so I had to do a post event survey through Dartmouth, and hopefully we'll get that much more and maybe some additional, so we don't have to turn children away next year. So.
That's
And
great.
that was at no cost, but it was a grant and it went great.
Great. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. All right, I don't see Gerard's here, so let's go through some other business. This is the Conservation Commission here, so we'll hit that item. We had received an email from Chris and Jeff about the conservation easement monitoring report for the property out on Bald Hill Road. Do you guys want to say anything about it? No?
Well, the letter's pretty self-explanatory, but,
It's not something you're right.
yeah, it's been,
No. The Gerards are coming in at 7:15,
Yeah.
so, anyways, go ahead.
yeah, and what the last several monitoring reports have mentioned trash buildup in the woods on the easement. We went out in May to put our own eyes on it, so it's not just the easement monitor looking at it. And there's some buildup of new trash, plastic, tires, piles of tires, office equipment. There's also a lot of older trash, like old farm equipment, sort of historical stuff that was certainly there before the easement was written.
Yeah.
We're not as concerned about that because when the thing was signed, everyone saw that and it was there. So we're just requesting that they make an effort to remove the newer trash.
Otherwise, no real problems with the easement itself? You guys manage that easement, correct?
Yes. Yeah, last year there was an issue with them continually posting it against trespass, and you all sent a letter. That has sort of been sidestepped because they're actively farming the field with the chickens from the burns.
Right.
So that seemed like a reason to actually have it posted so people don't bring it through there. So that's not as big of an issue as it was last year.
Okay. Questions? No. Great. I will make a motion to sign a letter to the Dailies regarding the cleanup of the easement as indicated by the Conservation Commission's monitoring report.
I'll second.
Second by Jackie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Next item I'm going to jump to is the ice skating rink. Jack McFadden sent an email. He has an 80 by 50 skating rink. I talked to Mr. McFadden. His kids are kind of grown out of it, and they're interested in donating it to the town. This is something that I had actually talked to the sellers about potentially at some point the town maybe putting up an ice skating rink in the winter, and they were supportive of it. So we have a location and we may have a rink. We weren't able to connect over this weekend, but I was going to go and take a look at it. I'll let you know when he's got some availability for us to, if you guys want to go over and look. But he said he has the whole equipment besides the main liner. He doesn't have nets for it, but you know, this will be probably a public skate thing. So you know, at some point maybe we'll think about getting some lighting down there on the field, up on the the Eversource poles, which would be great. Just have a great area for night skating or day skating in the area. So I'll let everybody know about that, but just to make everyone aware that we may come into an 80 by 50 skating rink.
How would we, who'd be responsible for maintaining that if we did end up taking, like, who's gonna be liability issues, like what?
Yeah, we'll have to address that, when we haven't taken possession of anything yet, but I certainly think that we can do that, probably look at our insurance policies as to liability for public skate. I know Stratton does public skate down at the Stratton Fields, and have a conversation with them about that. In terms of maintenance, I think that we'd probably get the ice started. I don't know that we'll dedicate any personnel to keeping it up, but anybody who wants to use it would have public access to it. It's in an open public area, so. But we can certainly talk more about that if and when we ever take possession.
Any of you guys here have one of these?
What?
The Ready Ice?
The Davises, our neighbors on Sanborn have one. And they got well, pretty much year-round. He's done something now. It's park basketball court. too. So,
That's smart.
yeah.
I know Paul Bauer puts one up every year too. Friends of ours in Stratton do it. They're not hard to put up. It's a little time.
No, I was just wondering if there, you know, anybody had like experience with the maintenance part of it, you know, because if it's,
Paul Bauer would, Mike Kennedy puts one out. There's several people in town. but-
okay.
What's
Is
that?
there no like,
Yeah, I mean, you basically put it out, you get water in it, and you just, you know, if you get the temperatures, you're all set.
Through the snow.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, right, just cleaning the snow. Yeah, so, you know, I'll certainly look into it, and we won't make any decisions until we've been able to take a look. My thought, by the way, about storage is that this actually may be ideal for, under the post office, the 65 Main Street, where we just got into an agreement with the water department for storage of equipment there, may be ideal for us to store there, which would be great.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since it's always so long the field, you have to be sure that they will be reliable.
Of course, I mean, it would be, I think we'd probably end up using it similar to our usage like Memorial Day and stuff like that, and make sure that we identify them under our internal policies. To Jackie's point, you know, we'll have to do our homework on that before we run down this road. And go. But yeah, I mean, fortunately, we've had some experience with them in dealing with this, so I would presume it wouldn't be too hard for us to do that again. Hello, Gerard.
Hello.
Why don't we have you guys go?
Do you want me to give you like a background?
So I invited the Gerards here. I've had conversations with them about the conservation land, which is right behind their property, and the access to it. But I think it probably would be helpful because the town may at some point come into this. If you give us some just general background as to some of the critical issues here and maybe the changes that you're contemplating and what role the town may or may not need to play.
Okay, awesome. So I can start by when we purchased the house, we were doing a 2-page document from Southeast Land Trust, kind of laying out how they would utilize the property. And this, in comparison.
If I can, just to familiarize, so this is the property out in Piscasset.
Yes.
There's the winery, the Windrock, the old Windrock, which is owned by the Roosevelts. And the next door is your property with the horse paddocks. And the conservation land is actually on the back side of your property, right? Across from the
Rail trail.
rail trail. So your property goes from 85 to the rail trail, and the conservation property is behind there.
Yes, and Southeast Land Trust has an easement to utilize the driveway to get back to the Piscasset Greenway. So we were expecting them, like in this document, it says, you know, that maybe once a year, mostly by foot. And then the first summer, actually when we were moving in, the day we were moving in, they showed up saying that they're going to be building a bridge. And it was his driveway, and they're going to be using it every day. And, you know, we just said, okay, they said it was a one-time thing. We let it, you know, we let them use it. It was pretty much like 4 days a week, 3 to 4 cars coming in staggered at different times, leaving our gates open to the public to then go onto our property, speeding through. It was just not respectful whatsoever. But again, we were patient with it because they said it was a one-time thing to do the bridge out there, out back. Which this also states that they would be using other accesses. It actually says they would use other accesses when they could, which they could have to do that bridge, but they still utilized our access every day. So the next year, we were assuming that they wouldn't be doing the same thing. And again, same thing, I think it was spring, they reached out to us, is the road, you know, are there any problems with the road because we're going to be using it again this summer? That's when we kind of asked to have a sit down and say, you know, it'd be very helpful if we at least gave us 24 hours of vacation. We have a family, 3 kids, dogs, horses, just to keep everybody safe on the property. You know, the volunteers are speeding, they're coming in with unmarked cars. We don't even know there's been people that come to our door saying they're from Southeast Land Trust, who we find out afterwards are not. People from the Snowmobile Club just showing up utilizing our driveway when they don't get permission from Southeast Land Trust. So all of this could be avoided if they just give us 24 hours of They were so rude and disrespectful, telling us that they do not have to do that, instead of just saying we'll do our best to try. And, we just emphasized that we have kids. And they even went as far as being so rudely to ask how old our kids were, and then telling me that they should be old enough to understand to look both ways before crossing the road. When I have to explain to them it's not a road, the kids are old enough to look both ways, but this is literally the driveway goes through our house and our garage, so it's not something my kids would look for. It's not something my dog would, be paying attention to his cars coming. So
It was also supposed to be a temporary access when this whole.
The driveway in between the garage and the house.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a temporary access and we read it all, and again, a lot of it could have been avoided, they just had done the actual other access at the time, but neither party did, and now.
So the other access was supposed to be, I don't know if you guys recall, but there was supposed to be a big subdivision back there. So it was a 50-foot right-of-way. So when the subdivision happened, Southeast Land Trust just utilized that right-of-way as going to be their permanent right-of-way to get to Wiscasset Greenway. But that was never built. It was supposed to be built by the previous homeowner, Dorothy Houghton, because there's a buildable lot that was not put into conservation land back there. And I guess, as far as I understand, it was her responsibility to build that if they ever built back there. In the meantime, Southeast Land Trust would use this temporary driveway. So Brian Hart, Deb Gord, who are kind of the managers of Southeast Land Trust, met us at our house so we could kind of explain the safety issue we had with that driveway and how, because not only was it a temporary driveway between kind of in the middle of our residential area, but we also couldn't see out of left or right going out of that driveway. So we didn't feel it was safe for our family, nor them utilizing as well. So we wanted to actually build for the safety of our family behind our garage where we have more visibility left and right. And he said he'd be willing to work with us on all of our concerns, which included the 24-hour notification, building that driveway behind there, if we'd be willing to give up our buildable lot out back. And we, said, let's discuss it, get back to you, we discuss it, and I said, for the safety of our family, we do feel it's worth it, to give up that lot in conservation, if you guys are willing to give us the notification and help us out with the driveway. So they agreed to all terms until it came down to the 24-hour notification, and they said that they would not do that, and they're not legal, they don't legally have to do that, and they will not do that. So at that point, we pulled everything off the table, and their last response was, we asked them to still please do their best to give us 24-hour notification, because unfortunately, the one representative that they hired that was managing the Wiscasset Greenway at the time, his name was Parker, he was actually very respectful. For one summer, he went out of his way to let us know, and it was super helpful. We appreciated it, but they let him go. So then we were very concerned. And when we asked them for the notification, as best they could, their response was, we will do so when we see fit. So that's when we reached out to Mike, because we just feel like they've been completely disrespectful the whole way. I don't think we were asking for much. We were willing to give up our buildable lot into conservation just simply for the 24-hour notification and help with driveway being built, which they would be utilizing. We're not even utilizing.
The back and forth could go on forever.
Yeah, there's more to it. It's been 3 years of complete disrespect. Complete disrespect. I don't think they've done anything kind to us since we moved in, especially the day we were moving in with boxes everywhere and just telling us that it's just driveway.
We're just having a hard time understanding how they couldn't give us any type of notification, because we don't know who's coming on the property at all. So obviously the kids at school and all, we just don't know.
Yeah.
Because their vehicles aren't marked, it's not like they come in a uniform or anything, so it's.
So is there a
Yes.
proposal in front of
So we had asked them before doing any of this, do you guys have any other access that we could utilize? And they said no. Every time no. So I tried to do a little bit of research, and I was looking into the coal farm off of Bald Hill Road, and I looked up through all the deeds and whatnot, and it does seem to be like this could be an option. In fact, in one of the deeds, it says that they allow logging, which is one of the main issues we're going to have with logging trucks coming through. And I really still don't think that logging trucks going on to Wiscasset, where we are, the speed limit and the traffic is ideal for the town. I think it's a liability. It's hard for us to see up over that hill, so if they're coming out slowly trying to make that corner, I just don't think it's good on any part where I think this access over at Cole Farm, not only would it not affect the homeowner because Southeast Land Trust owns all that land, but I think it's just a safer place for logging trucks to be coming in and out of.
So instead of coming in off of Piscassic from the south side, you're talking about coming in from Bald Hill from the west.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did find out during the process that they do have access. They were open to hearing us out for relocations.
That was in the meeting, I think, with you here.
Right, kind of where it came out. I found donors to basically step up and help with it.
To pay for the driveway.
To pay for that relocation.
For the improvements necessary for the trucks?
So no, so for example, we had also offered to pay if they utilize this this as an access instead of our access and close our access down, we would pay, what it would cost for our driveway, make that a donation. But then we also have friends of ours who would donate all the money to actually build this. They said they'd be more than happy to do that. They've also said that they have not had good relations with Southeast Land Trust as well either. They've donated to them in the past and not had good relationships afterwards. And they said that they would also be willing to talk with the town too, because they know that there's some more land out here that Southeast Land Trust wants, and they'd be willing to
They
actually.
said they'd be willing to step up to be a donation to the town to keep the land in the town's name versus someone else.
Understood.
And I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'm just sharing our experience with them. It's not been good. I don't know how other people who have to deal
Well,
with it.
actually, we have the chairs of the Conservation Commission right behind. We were just talking about, you guys maintain a couple of the conservation lands here in town. I don't think we've had a whole lot of complaints from neighbors about conservation administration. I mean, do you guys have issues cropped up?
This issue was from the Conservation Commission for the better part of a year. Last summer, I think it was. So it was a tricky situation because we're dealing with not only the easements for the conservation land, which is held by the town. That's an entity separate from the right-of-way that CELT has through the property.
So CELT has the right of
CELT has a right-of-way.
way through property that you guys administer.
Well, they also, so they have the right of way both through our residential and then through the conservation.
But I'm talking about on the property off Bald Hill.
Oh,
Do you guys administer? Or does Southeast Land Trust?
so I have the deed, there's two deeds, there's a farmland and a wildlife conservation easement deed that's associated with that. I printed out one because they're 20.
This is for the coal property? Okay.
Yeah, so in it, on page 4, it flat out says, it says right here that for the purpose of forestry, like it goes all the way through, that roads can be constructed. There's nothing that says it can't, so I'm curious as to why there actually hasn't been a road construction over the Cole Farm, considering it's already in the deed, saying it can be constructed
Mhm.
for forestry reasons. So would the town have given them permission to have those logging trucks going up Bald Hill? Because I know that's a town road versus a state road, so.
I would have to talk to the road agent. Are there restrictions? I don't think there's any restrictions on traffic on Bald Hill Road,
Okay.
given that there's no
Certain times
bridges.
of year, that's,
Yeah, but
just-
there's no real bridges. Certainly, there's nothing in between Piscassic
They're
and
talking
the
like
coal
10,
property
12
that would, I
years.
think, provide any limitations.
So they're, like the logging truck, this is like every 10 to 12 years they would do this.
Yes,
So that couldn't be planned.
There's no restriction.
I don't think so. I don't think
Yeah,
there's any weight
if
restrictions.
there
or
were,
anything.
I don't think you guys would have given them the right to do this.
Well, there's only posting for the spring for road conditions when the thaw is coming, and that's it.
Okay.
You can't stop a log truck from doing business on town or state roads.
Okay. What made me upset is they said they had no other location. Like, they wouldn't even entertain. I had to go out of my way to try to figure out another location. I don't trust them, I don't respect them anymore. So we actually, ideally, we no longer want to work with them. So we're willing to, like I said, we like what they do, we like what they stand for, we just don't like the way they treat us. So I feel like if there was not another access, we would work with them, obviously. But because there is another access, I feel like we would hop on the bandwagon with some funding and make sure that this access would get completed so they can still do everything they need to do in the Greenway.
Now,
to New Hampshire DOT, and they said we wouldn't have to close down the temporary driveway until the completion of that whole driveway is done. So
Okay.
because the completion's not done just to our private residents,
So have they still been coming straight through the middle, or have they come in that?
they've been coming straight through the middle when they come, but they haven't actually, since we met with you, Mike, they haven't showed up. So it's just been beneficial to us.
If you develop within the 50-foot stewardship access area, would that reduce the disruption to your family?
So if we continue down, yes.
Last time I was out there and walked in.
Yes, and that's when we were still on board with doing that. They've just been so disrespectful to us since then, even more so since we sat in front of the Conservation Committee, that, like I said, now finding that there actually is another access that they could use, if we can help them, figure out how to build it so that there is a way to get in the greenway and they can do everything that they need to do and not have to disturb us.
Well, certainly I would think from a safety standpoint, it would probably be better, all other things being equal, right? Probably not having those logging trucks in and out on Piscasset with a view, even at that new entrance, versus having them on Bald Hill, given the speeds involved, I think, of traffic on Piscasset versus Bald Hill.
Now, I will tell you the access point from the Bald Hill to the Piscasset Greenway where they want to get to the main trail there. It is double the distance. I walked it and I measured it out and stuff, and they're aware of it too. It's double the distance of what our driveway is.
Mhm.
That's why we were willing to make up the difference too with that, and we found somebody that would fund it too. So
Would that have to be paved, or can it be a gravel road? I don't know the answer.
That's the stage.
yeah. So they used, and that's another thing. I'm not sure why they're doing 50-foot right away, because what they currently use is 8 feet, 9 feet. Yeah. So it's not, and I guess the logging trucks went down that road previously before we moved in.
Go ahead, Jackie.
I'm trying to picture this in my head. So when you guys purchased it, there were alternate plans to have a buildable lot behind your house built on. And the driveway this temporary driveway, was that going to be an access road to that buildable lot? So now you don't have like a permanent driveway, really? It's,
Okay.
please, if you have a map,
easier.
that'd be awesome.
It's probably a lot easier if you visualize it. Okay.
Can you want to put that up here?
Yeah.
Probably easier.
Okay, so this is our house, this is our garage, this is the temporary that they've been using. Okay, so this is the rail trail. So this goes to our residential, this is where you hit our conservation land,
Okay.
and it continues here, this is the greenway.
Okay.
Okay, so
You're
the
on.
proposed here, so this was temporary.
Yeah.
If this got built, and this lot here, then this would get built.
Okay.
This was originally for a subdivision, that's why it's so big.
Okay.
So what we did, just because this is not, you can't see actually on
Right.
either side from this, of this driveway, but going down the hill a little bit, we have better access. So we built this portion of it and wrapped it around here.
Okay, so you've already built this part?
You got it, but
Okay.
because we haven't been able to have a good working relationship with Southeast Land Trust, we're kind of, unfortunately, we're working on the lawyers right now.
Okay, so you built something around here and then you kind of want to block this off?
Yes, we don't have to until this gets resolved.
Got it.
So that's one thing I did make sure.
That makes more sense.
I think, like, we weren't cutting them off, they still had access by this building behind the garage.
Yeah.
So I just didn't want to wait until this got resolved because it's just safer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, do something.
No, I got it.
It's complicated, and, the lawyer that looked into all these conservation and deeds said that this is the most complicated set of deeds and easements that he's ever seen. So because of that, there's lots of loopholes within them. And the last conversation we had with their lawyer said that they would rather not work with us anymore. So we're hoping that you guys will do the second option that we could propose to them and hope that they move forward in that direction.
So if the option off of Bald Hill Road were to be done, what would need to be done by the town, either through the Conservation Commission or through the board of selectmen, or, you know, I doubt through planning, but if there's anything through planning that needs to be done with respect to road development, that would be required if that option were to be seen as the best option to move forward.
As far as we know, the only thing that we can do, according to his lawyer, the Southeast Manchester lawyer, is, they said that they can use that access because it was a town road, not a state road, they don't have permission to use logging trucks on that road.
On what, Bald Hill Road?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that that's necessarily the case.
We've been told a lot of things from Southeast.
Who said
Manchester,
their attorney
that's not
said
the
that?
case.
Their attorney said that?
So, but their attorney is saying that the town would have to approve the use of Bald Hill Road for logging trucks. Okay.
That's all for now.
Yeah.
Now, once if you guys are willing to approve that, I'm not saying that they're not going to come back with something else, because this has been our.
It's a lot of.
Honestly, I'd be surprised that town approval would be necessary for that unless there are restrictions on, that exist on that road, which I'm not aware of. But let's just set that aside. Is there anything else with respect to then the access road from Bald Hill to the Greenway that the town would have to basically weigh in on? Whether it's the Conservation Commission or the board?
Well, the easement says that for our stewardship and monitoring of their property, that we need to be allowed to use that 50-foot steward.
Oh, so, okay, let me rewind. So Newfields
Come on.
Conservation,
No,
you
no,
guys
no.
have been, they've been nothing but overly respectful.
No, are you talking about the one on their
On
property?
their property.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it still has to be somewhat available,
No,
at least to us.
we have no problem with Newfields Conservation.
No, I understand.
So,
But with respect to the property over on Bald Hill Road, is there anything that you guys would need to approve or change?
so this is,
No,
Yeah.
No, it's
Okay.
This is all new to us.
No, fair enough. Again, no decisions are getting made here. This is more educational than anything else, and preparation in advance for, do we, the board, need to do some homework, or you guys need to do some homework to figure out, okay, we need to make this change to the easement, or, you know, if the town needs to make to do something about the roads and the logging
Would
parts.
self-relinquish their right-of-way through your property at
That's-
that point?
that's what we're hoping.
Yeah, it would have to be a change of
Yeah,
terms
it's
itself.
Of course,
No, we're aware.
Yeah, not.
No,
I don't think
but
we-
that would be them, and my presumption is that it wouldn't interfere with your ability to access it, right? It would only be CELT relinquishing their rights. And again, so I go back to, if CELT were willing to do that, if the town does whatever necessary to get the logging trucks now coming from the Bald Hill access, is there anything else the town needs to do here?
No, the only thing they mentioned in the meeting with us, I don't know if you recall, they kept on referencing NRCS, which is in this deed. But when I read through it, it states that they, they can, it says they can conduct forestry in here and they can build a road. Everything's in there. Nothing is mentioned with the NRCS having any say.
Rights or authority?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that was just another thing that they were trying to do to delay us. That's all.
Okay.
That's how it's steering in another direction.
Have they indicated any willingness to get rid of their right of
Well,
way?
the last time we met, and we had Mike invited to it, they kind of informally said, yeah, we gave them a list of options, like, let's come to some working grounds here. And surprisingly, that was one of them they were willing to work with, so. And then it's just, they just wouldn't do anything.
They're challenging.
But we asked them about this a year ago, 2
So
years ago.
they canceled
Done
no
this.
show on their lawyer appointments. They've almost intentionally have been disrespectful.
So we basically would rather say, okay, let's just pick up Cell, move them over here, has nothing to do with them, they can keep doing whatever they need to do, but just relocate
Okay.
that access for them.
I mean, Sarah just got an email from Sarah with the conservation. She reaches out to me months in advance and asks me to participate in the walk. It's overly respectful.
So outside of then what they stated as the town needs to approve logging trucks on Bald Hill Road, they indicate anything else that the town needs to address at this point in time?
Not at this point.
Okay. Other questions, concerns?
I just think that logging approval for the town in the red area. I don't see that as having any standing at all.
Well, again, I think I'll reach out to the road agent tomorrow, and have him at least weigh in on it. I'm surprised because, as I said, without any formal restrictions posted on that, and there are no bridges on that between Piscassic and where you're talking about the entrance, I don't see how the town has any say in the matter. I don't think it would be illegal for a logging truck to utilize that just driving into Newmarket. But we'll check. The board will reach out, talk to the road agent. If something is required by the town, we'll have a meeting and a public hearing about it, and we'll address it.
Now, is there any regulations within the town or on a town road as to far how wide the driveway is when it's a town road? Because I know we were restricted, being on a state road, to only have it so wide, which doesn't help their turning radius for logging trucks.
Again, don't know off the top of my head. But when we inquire with the road agent, I can see what for a logging truck, what the minimum width he would recommend for an entrance onto the pathway into the greenway. So.
Was there any event, a key event that triggered their insurances on this that you can point a finger at?
That they're what?
Any key event that triggered their insurances and unwillingness to work with you?
So
Was
just
there
that-
something that transpired?
It's been like this a little bit since day one.
I mean, yeah.
I don't.
We even went out of our way, they're supposed to actually be in charge of, I'm not trying to cut you off, sorry, managing the driveway. But we actually managed the whole thing, we re-stoned it, we trimmed all the tree limbs, whatnot, we got rid of all the poison ivy. And all we asked for in return was 24-hour notification. So I felt like we were being overly neighborly and we didn't get anything in return. So no, there was no incident where we felt like I think there was one incident when they asked us how old our kids were and said that, they should be old enough to cross road. And that's where I was like, well, I have two teenage daughters. I've seen how young volunteers are coming in. They're coming in unmarked cars. And that's when he asked if they could back. That's when I know that. And Barnhart. But that's the only thing I think that we could have done with them.
Well, my point was, if we don't know who's sending on our property, and you're not doing any type of, because they kind of claim a lot of our people are volunteers. And I said, well, that just states my case more. You're sending people you don't know.
Oh, sure.
So if you're
Without
sending,
that.
right, so if you're just sending people out of know with unmarked cars, who's to say that some random person doesn't just keep showing up? And then we actually had that happen with a couple twice, who claimed that they were with Southeast Land Trust and they weren't. I don't know, it's been a,
Yeah, I think there's also a lot of public use on that one access above us to get to the Rockingham Rail Trail. And I think, maybe our driver was a little pain into something that couldn't be so.
Well, let me suggest then that we'll reach out to the road agent. We'll ask these questions. We'll follow up with you. If you get in your conversations with the Southeast Land Trust, if something else comes up, either with respect to actions that this board may need to take or the Conservation Commission, just let us know. And then, we'll go from there.
Thank you.
All right?
Do you want any of these deeds or
Do you guys want copies?
you don't want somebody reading?
We got some.
Reading meets and bounds? Yeah, everyone loves to.
yeah.
200.
If anything comes up, like questions from anybody, just reach out, just let us know.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for coming in,
Good
guys.
night.
All right. So let's do some quick business and we'll get into the trash issues and stairs. We have a deed for a cemetery plot, a request, Mark Woodbridge, for Locust Cliff Cemetery, looking for a cemetery plot. Any questions about this? No? I'll make a motion to accept the deed for cemetery plot for Mark Goodrich as provided. Second by Bobby. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Real quick, we have a town hall rental request for October 24th for the homeowners association in, it looks like Deer Trees Homeowners Association. No, it doesn't look like alcohol will be served. It'll be from 7 to 9 on the 24th. Any questions about that? I'll make a motion to approve the rental agreement with the Deer Trees Homeowners Association.
A second.
Second by Jackie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Today's a 9 out of 10. It's a 27. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Trash bins. So we received the 3 bids shortly before our last meeting. Hopefully everyone's had the chance to go back and look at them in more detail. I'll open it up in general as to thoughts and opinions about the bids that we received and preferences. Anybody want to go first? No? Nobody wants to go first? I'll jump in here. So we received the 3 bids from Elm, from Waste Management, and from Casella. By my math, Casella's bids were much higher than the other 2. And that was without even including the fuel adjustment. They had a fuel adjustment with a $4.50 baseline, but it certainly seemed that their bids were much higher both on the next year and on a 3-year total. I don't know if you guys, your math, you know. So looking at the Waste Management and the Elm bids. So each of them provided both a per ton as well as a fixed fee bid structure. And Waste Management also included a bid that included automation for collection. The automation, as I read it, would be they would provide every household in town with a 96-gallon container, and only what fit in the container they would take because it's an automated system. But that, you know, that provides a certain, it's about a $7 or $8 savings over their offer, their original offer. And then Elm came in with 2 bids which were comparable in price to the Waste Management, although by my math, you know, depending upon how you're looking at it on a per tonnage basis, the Elm fixed fee structure seemed to me to be the most cost effective. I don't know what you guys cover there. So at the end of the day, you know, looking at our approximately 600 tons a year and scaling that up by, you know, 3% a year, I basically came up with the Elm 2 bids coming out at approximately $295,000 under the per tonnage and about $246,000 under the fixed fee structure. Waste Management came in at $308,000 under their standard per tonnage, $347,000 under their fixed fee structure, and $293,000 under their automated per tonnage. With Casella at $381,000, much higher than the other 2. So the way I looked at it was, we're looking at, you know, the 2 lowest bids are the Elm fixed fee structure or the Waste Management automated bin per tonnage structure. And again, all of these assume the same fixed fee for tipping at turnkey that the town is currently under. So, I mean, in my math, I'm not even including the tipping fee. We're just looking at basically the collection side of this because everyone's tipping at turnkey. Is that approximately what you guys are looking at?
Those are the numbers I got.
Okay. Are there other issues, factors? I mean, certainly we're looking at a fixed fee from Elm versus the automated bin structure from Waste Management. Preferences, concerns, questions that anybody has or wants to raise?
I know Jim is here tonight, and something that has really been important to me is how communicative he is, and I think that's really important when you're dealing with a town vendor. So, you know, if all things were the same, that would be my,
Give them bonus points for that.
yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely. Jim, thank you for coming. I mean, I agree with you. I think the recycling has gone as well as can be expected. Jim has been great about adding days to take away, you know, what seems to be an enormous amount of corrugated cardboard the town has generated. We haven't really received any complaints about it. So I think you're certainly to be commended for the service that you've been providing under the contract with the town for the recycling. Other comments, questions?
Yeah, but you talked about being able to do both the recycling and the trash on the same day.
Yeah, so if we were awarded the trash contract, we would combine the dates.
Oh,
So
even better. I only
have
to go to the curb once a week.
So we have to work on some other schedule logistics, but we're leaning towards moving trash to Mondays, obviously keeping recycling on Mondays, so that would be the question. But under any scenario, the days would be combined.
Okay.
And didn't Waste Management have a fuel surcharge potential on theirs as well?
I don't think they
I
did.
saw one on there.
I don't recall a fuel surcharge on there.
It's based on a propane fuel surcharge.
Unless I missed that, but,
I'll look if you want to keep going.
if you want, I mean, section 6 was the formal bid.
Fuel or diesel surcharge, Michael, about 20 pages in.
Do you know what section that is?
Exceptions, proposal specific clarifications.
He references section 2, that's promotional. Let's see, the exceptions. Proposals. Yeah, section 2. So exceptions to the RFP, scope is,
Either a CNG surcharge or a diesel surcharge.
It says no fuel surcharges will be permitted under this contract. Do you see something different?
Okay, so this was addressed in the Q&A, which was part of the bid meeting. They asked about that, and they said, can we include a fuel surcharge? And the response was, because our original language, you know, that was we were coming off of the old RFP. So we allowed them to, if they wanted to include a fuel surcharge, they could, but obviously we were going to account for it in the bids. So it wasn't just going to be you include a fuel surcharge or not, we were going to assess it in the bids. And that was discussed at the bid meeting, as well as it was posted as a response to the Q&A from the bid meeting. So,
That was on the August 16th.
okay, so you know what, I missed those exceptions. Yeah, you're right. They're including some fuel surcharges.
You want to tell me where you're looking at that? Because I'm not seeing it.
Sure, it's in section 2. If you go to the third from the last page of section 2.
I don't have them.
Oh, yeah, no, it's no problem, I'll hand it to you. So if you go here, if you turn the page, this yep. So this is where they describe it. Good catch.
Jim, you had mentioned you were looking at trucks that could do both recycling and handle stuff at the same time?
Yeah, so I mean, we're not committing to that at this point, but that's
It's
a
a
possibility.
viable option.
That's a viable option. So, again, if we were wanting the trash, we'd be looking, we're potentially looking at a split, what they call split loader. So, but that was certainly be communicated there, so the residents were aware that it is a split loader, we're not just going sucking away.
Certainly.
And that's split forward and front and rear down the side. Is that the way it works, or is it?
So depending on the truck, it's, if it's a rear loader like we're using now, it's, it's a 60-40 split. 60% is the MSW, and there's also side loading vehicles. So.
I think that kind of drives it home for me, Mike.
All right. Any other comments? I mean, I think we're all leaning towards the same thing, I think. I will make a motion that we request Elm to provide us with contract language under the fixed fee option that they provided the town for our municipal solid waste collection, residential, so that we can enter into negotiations to try to finalize that before the end of the year. Second by Howard.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Jim, in our conversation, we had, you had questioned the tonnage that we're generating. So I'm wondering, within this contract, do we have to choose the option per ton, or do we have to choose the fixed fee, or is it whichever is less?
Yeah, no. So the tonnage, if you're leaning towards the fixed fee, let me just word this correctly. Whatever the tonnage that's coming out of the fields is the tonnage that the town is going to be billed for. And new fields only.
Okay.
Which is not being billed for us. That's being billed directly.
The tipping.
The tipping.
The tipping comes through, that'll continue to be invoiced from Waste Management.
Yes.
What we're talking about is purely on the collection side.
Yes.
So the tipping would be, we get billed by Waste Management for what you deliver on behalf of the town to Turnkey.
My assessment is, just based on some historical data from your town and from some other towns we're servicing, I'd be surprised if your tonnage numbers don't come down, so.
It has been the last year or two. We've certainly noticed a drop in tonnage.
But so the terms of the contract, it would be either or, whichever is.
No.
So what I'm asking, I guess, is we've got the fixed fee. It says or, we can do per ton or fixed fee. So do we have to choose when we're entering into the contract if we're going to go per ton or fixed fee?
Yes.
Okay, that was my question.
I would think that the fixed fee is the most
Right.
advantageous here.
In essence, we're gonna have two contracts. Again, without, probably a fixed fee with you, saying that you will collect everything in town for the next 3 years at these fixed fees. What we get from Waste Management, though, will be their billing after he delivers, that will still be on a per ton basis. Because that's how they bill out of turn.
Right.
Just so that we're all. All right, motion was seconded. Any other questions? No? All in favor? Aye, great. Jim, can you start to work something up for us? Great, I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Nice. Town hall stairs repair. So, I know we have been looking at that. By the way, before we get into that, I want to publicly commend Nancy Ditcher and Leroy Legg. They were out there. We've looked at the bricks out there. It is all clear of weeds. They did a yeoman's job cleaning those steps up. So we've been looking at the town hall stairs repair. We had some initial bids. The discussion became from, based upon the initial look of this, that the stairs probably had to be restabilized. And so I know that we were going to put it back out to bid, but I just wanted to, I know that you had raised some other issues on the ADA. I think everything here there was ADA compliant. both with the ramp there and the ramp here. Obviously, we can't make the steps to the parking lot, but we do have the handicap parking restriction at the end to make it simple for someone coming in here. Are there other aspects of this outside of stabilization and the steps that we need to?
That was just my question. If we're going to go through, you know, if we're going to redo the walkway or the steps, like, I was just wanting to see if, you know, make sure that we have somebody in here making sure it's also compliant if we're doing any repairs to it. I don't know how old, you know, when the last time this work was done and if it is actually within compliance, so that was just the
Okay.
concern that I had
Yep.
raised.
Well, I think we should have them go out, you know, given the time of year. I'm hopeful that we can get it done sooner rather than later. But go out and have them do a request for bids for the repairs to the bricks and the steps and stabilization of those, so that we're not back here in 5 years because, you know, it wasn't stable. And maybe that's, if you guys can go out and get the bids in that form for stabilization of the walkways and the steps, and we'll see what we
I just don't
can.
understand. You want the whole walkway of the bricks that just need
No,
stabilization?
I think
Stop down and-
the rest of the walk doesn't, the brickwork doesn't seem to be perturbed. I
Okay.
mean, we're not getting any frost heaves
Okay.
in the
So we're
main
just
walkway
talking
or on the ramp.
So it's just.
I think it's, the concentration is the stabilization of those steps and the bricks on the steps that are creating the tripping hazard that Jackie identified.
Yes, okay, I just want to make sure.
So we'll get the bids on those and take a look.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
I talked to Larry Shaw, and got a thumbnail background on the ADA compliance, and then looked at the CFRs and everything between those two. We're all set as far as meeting those requirements.
Oh, okay, okay, that's good to know, that's good to know. All right, before we get into meeting minutes and others, a quick some items that came up. Quick Hazel update. Derek Rett called me to give me an update on the Hazel situation. His lawyer had reached out to Derek to offer the town to enter into an agreement with them to basically postpone the sheriff's auction that we are moving towards, and they would agree to get the property listed by November 1st. My initial question to Derek was, well, they could have listed this property at any time over the last several years. I don't know why we would you know, what we're getting out of this by agreeing to slow down this process. I did ask, I did say to Derek, you know, one thing to consider would be if they want to, if they don't feel that they can move on it in a timely manner, and I asked Derek, I said, can they give a power of attorney to the town to basically list the property and sell it? And they waive all their residual rights to, you know, repurchase the property after a year under a sheriff's auction. And he said he'll go back and have a discussion with them about that, but I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I'm not inclined to keep pushing off this. I mean, to me, this is a delaying tactic by Hazel to prevent the eventual reconciliation of property under the court order.
What's Derek's involvement?
Derek's a town council.
You said Derek Rock.
No, I'm sorry, Derek Durbin. I apologize.
I wasn't the only one, right?
No. Sorry, my bad. We were talking about the steps and I'm sorry, Derek Durbin, our town council. This is with Derek Durbin. Sorry about that.
I
So
spent
yeah.
all that time trying to figure out the relationship, so can you take that back?
Sure.
Okay.
So, you know, they proposed to further delay this by having us defer the sheriff's auction if they were going to list it by November 1st. I said I'll talk to the board about it, but I'm not inclined to support that because, like I said, he could have listed it 6 months ago, a year ago. So to me, this is just another stalling tactic. I did say to Derek, you know, is it possible that he could just turn over the rights to the town and therefore we can sell it, because under a sheriff's auction, he'll have a year to come back and buy it back from the purchaser, right? So you're likely to get a discount there, although, you know, whether he does that or not, you know, somebody else can evaluate that. But if he were to agree to let the town list this, then I presume he would forego that right, and therefore the town can list it, get this property sold, we can reconcile with him, and obviously get the money the town is owed from the property. Property taxes, the cleanup costs.
What's the ballpark number on that?
So the outstanding property taxes, I can't remember, they're probably something on the order of, let's say, $15,000, maybe a little more.
And the fees?
There's approximately $20,000 in cleanup fees and legal fees associated with property. And then the court allowed the town to take the fees assessed for the violation of the town ordinances, and that totals $192,000. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to get that, take that, but we are allowed to take up to that.
How difficult would it be to sell the property?
You know, it's quite a bit of water and sewer too.
Yeah, and that's water and sewer department, that's obviously a lien on the property as well, although not through the town. How quickly could we sell it?
How difficult would it be for us to sell it? Is it just employing our agent?
Again, it would just be hiring a realtor to basically put the property up and move it. We probably could move it faster than if it went to sheriff's auction, because there's always a process to that. And as I said, if he were to agree to that, we may end up getting, more money, which is more money in his pocket as well, because it's not done under a sheriff's auction where, people are looking for fire sale prices and they recognize that they bid at a discount because of the potential of the homeowner coming back and buying the property back after a year, or within a year. So, anyways, that's what I said to Derek. He hasn't heard back, I think, from his lawyer. In the meantime, this is moving towards the sheriff's auction, so, if we don't do anything, it's still going to move away. But again, I just want to keep you guys up to date as to the conversations here. I don't know if you have any thoughts about the proposal that we enter into another agreement with him.
I think time is of the essence on this, to unload it is in the most timely manner. It's behind us.
Well, I don't think we should push it out.
Okay. Great.
I agree with you, this has just kind of been
I mean, you've been here for several years, and
Yeah.
it seems to never go away, right?
Right.
Yep.
Well, he's adding to it. I watched him this weekend back into a truck and added to it, so.
Yeah.
He's not gonna change.
I don't expect that, and like I said, I think this is more of a delay tactic than it is an effort to resolve. So, like I said, we'll make a proposal to move the process faster through us. My guess is to reject that, but we're still moving towards the sheriff's auction, so, and the legal hurdles associated with that. Okay. New prosecutor was covered. One other thing. So, Vernon Family Farm inspection took place a week and a half ago, I think. I think you guys should have received a copy of Larry's report. The Vernons, I believe, are scheduled to come before the planning board in October to talk about the facility, obviously, what they have done, what needs to get done, questions from the planning board about what's going on there. I don't know if you guys had any other thoughts or questions. I did provide a copy of the inspector's report to the chief, just to make sure the fire department, and to Chief Young, just again from health and safety, because this is a health and safety issue. Do you have any thoughts or questions, concerns about
All
that?
kinds of thoughts, questions, and concerns, but the main thing is, the town is gonna decide whether this is, legal to be used done in that area. I mean, that's the advice from the fire marshal. The fire marshal, we can do an inspection. We can tell them what they need to do, but it's kind of giving them permission to do what they're not supposed to be doing. So the town needs to come up with, okay, we're gonna undo it.
presume a lot of that will come out of the planning meeting in October, right?
So, I mean, when and if we need an inspection, I think this is a tense enough situation that I'll have a fire marshal dealing with it. They have the right to, they won't be turning the fire marshal on to do an inspection, so.
Okay. I appreciate that, Chief. You have any other comments, Chief? I know from a police standpoint, there's not a whole lot in that inspector's report for you to address. Again, more courtesy than anything else. Go ahead. You have a comment?
Jeff, did you get any more information back on that specifics as to the outdoor mercantile classification?
That's what they would call it. But again, they need to inspect to be able to really, I mean, all I show them is what we saw, the website, picture on the website, look at the building, see what's in, see what it's doing. That's all they can see. Outdoor mercantile is going to be different than a regular restaurant. Larry mentioned emergency lane, not required in outdoor mercantile. Some of the fire suppression, open three-sided building, there's no smoke or heat detectors required. Obviously, wiring is going to be up to code. Obviously, there's the fryways. You can look at them. He's going to say, what size are they? We don't know. Each fryway, requires something different. So, there's going to be some life safety stuff that if, as I say, if this is something that's going to stay, yes, they're going to have to do some updates. But, at this point in time, we need to know if they're violating any town ordinances or not.
Right. And again, will be the broader discussion when they get to planning board, where that board with the expertise and the knowledge and
And I'm not saying that, we couldn't call the fire marshal to come in next week and do an inspection, but they just said, use caution, because sometimes that gives somebody a false sense of hope, saying, okay, we're all set.
Oh, yeah, right, I see what you're saying. So he said, if the fire marshal gives them a green light, then,
The
that's.
fire marshal said, we are not going to get into
Yeah.
your zoning,
Yeah, they don't want
we're
to
not
get
going to
dragged
get
into
into health, we're not going to get into any of that,
Yep. I
So,
understand.
that's other, if it's going to be okay, then you got to look at health code, you got to look at, fires are going to be easy side, you got to look at, liquor licenses, you got to.
Are there any ordinances that the planning board is proposing that they are currently violating?
Nothing other than what we've already discussed, that they're going to come to the board to discuss.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but they've never brought anything with respect to this structure before the planning board, for the
That's
planning board to
correct.
review. All right.
That's
Yeah.
And reviewing the 13 September letter from BCM Environmental, there's a number of representations in there which I don't find accurate, just for the record, as far as to the status of the electrical condition. It's already been inspected and approved. There's a number of items in here that are not accurate. In dealing with both Larry's inspection and her representation, and also in my conversations with Larry, such as what the basis for not needing a building permit for putting a roof over the structure. So just for the record of the board, there are errors in here as the fact that we need to be cognizant of when we're dealing with this in the future.
Did you or Glenn get a copy of what he's referencing here, which is,
Did you guys see
it's
this?
about a 5-page letter.
Was that post-inspection?
This was that?
13 September, and the inspection was on 13 September.
Yeah, it was the same day of the inspection. Okay. I'll make sure, it probably makes sense for you and for the planning board to see both the inspection as well as their response. Just, again, I think in preparation for the discussion, it probably would be helpful just to keep everybody up to date.
I received the report from the inspection.
Okay. I'll make sure that anything that letter and the changes that they've made, which are indicated in this letter, that you have, so that everyone's aware of what's taking place so far. All right, any other discussions about that? And
Not
access?
Vernon, but if I can ask,
Yes.
how's the on-call setup that you have going? I'm wondering about.
It's working well.
Yeah,
As I said, it's not a cure-all,
right.
but it has got some, as I mentioned, some more active interest from the younger folks. So it's working.
Good.
It's not a cure-all, it's not a solving situation. We've got, we gained one new member this year. But like I said, it's making me feel a little bit more comfortable,
Good, good.
but not really.
Slight ease, but not a solution, like you said.
All right. Prior meeting minutes, we have minutes from September 14th. Let's take a quick look at those. I'll email you a copy as well.
Okay.
Make it easy for you to circulate. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Appreciate it. Oh, by the way, I did ask Derek Durbin about the question you raised about Badger Park, and he said even adding to the name may create, yeah, exactly. So he recommended that we don't take any action. That's good.
I just have one thing on page 2, paragraph 2.
Yep.
Where it says I recommend a formal investment policy. If I recall correctly, I inquired about the recommendation for a formal investment policy.
I'm sorry, where are we at?
Paragraph 2, page 2,
Yes.
second sentence, where it says I recommend a formal investment
Oh,
policy.
yes.
I just inquired about the recommendation for
Oh.
a formal. That's way above my pay grade as far as finances go.
Great. Any other changes? No. I'll move the minutes as amended.
Second.
Second by Jackie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Take a quick look at October dates.
Then I have one other thing I want to touch base on.
Sure. Let's do real quick on October. Exciting month, October. 2 weeks is going to be the 11th, and then 2 weeks after that is the 25th.
Works for me.
Those good?
Yes.
All right, let's put them down. Again, if we need to change, we can always change. We'll go for the 11th and the 25th. Just FYI, did we send out an email to the departments about their budgets?
I sent them an email a month ago, but.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
So
when do you want to start scheduling?
I would start scheduling for those October dates.
Okay.
Usually we get the easy ones up front. You know, cemetery is pretty easy. Celebration usually pretty easy. Police is simple. Just kidding.
Just more.
But yeah, if you can start reaching out to them to see who might be able to make those October dates, it just moves the process along.
Got it.
Great, thank you.
So if I'm looking at November too, I'm just thinking about that.
Sure.
We want to do the 11th and the 1st, because the 8th is election day.
So,
Or no.
I'm sorry, what date's week? The 11th?
Sorry.
Oh, right, November 1st.
Yes, so I'm
Yes.
thinking, or would it make sense to keep the 25th and do the 1st?
To be honest, we're entering budget season. It would probably make sense to do the 25th and probably the 1st.
Okay.
and then go in on the 15th after, you know, because,
Yeah.
so tentatively, let's put November 1st and November 15th on the calendar, just because we're going to be doing all the budget, and so we'll be doing a few more meetings, a little more rapid fire. Revenue and expense, I don't
No,
even know.
actually, it's my mistake. I didn't get them back from Dawn.
What's that?
I didn't get them back from Dawn.
Oh, great, because I didn't see them, so yeah, revenues and expenses, no thing I didn't know. Other items,
School board meeting,
October 5th,
18:30 to 6:30 at the elementary school.
at the elementary, yep, that's correct. That's correct.
Told me what time you said?
6:30,
18:30.
I think.
No, it's just 7.
I think it's non-public.
Non-public 7, right?
No, I think that, isn't this,
This meeting is not public.
At 6:30.
I'm on the 6 o'clock public.
Oh, you know what, I'll check with them. It may be that they're gonna do their 7 o'clock meeting, which is only gonna last about a half an hour, and then go into non-public.
Can you get clarification?
Yeah, I'll get clarification just so everybody knows, and I'll circulate that. I think that's what it is that they start at 7, they do their non-public after their meeting. So that may be what's gonna happen. Because I don't think they expect to have a very big agenda.
Yeah, I'm on the agenda for some curriculum that we're trying to get back in the air and stuff, so honestly, I don't know, it's 6 or, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I'll circulate. I'll just touch base with them. Anything else anybody have? No? Great. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Jackie. All in favor? Aye. Thank you so much. How's everyone doing? Love it in autumn?
No.
I love autumn. Too hot for me.
Repeat it.
On the 25th, and then on the 1st.
Lowe's ones at the sculptor at the Yuma, it's 108.
So you're kind of.
Yeah, you
That was that good.
I saw that, so you had to like that. Because he said, none of us are gonna be home, so, we did the next best thing, and it got me. It got me.
Yep.
Cameras are like.
Yeah, shut that down. Now we can swear.
Memory card is.
Oh, it's full?